So we have Reshma Jacob today to give a talk on interaction of phonological systems in multilinguals, a case study of heritage Konkani speakers of Kerala. So she did her MA, MPhil, and submitted her PhD recently in JNU. Her PhD topic was on English as a second language, phonology of heritage Konkani and Malayalam speakers of Kerala. She is currently faculty at the Department of English Studies, University, Bangalore. Uh, yeah, so if you have any questions related to data, you can write in the chat box. I'll bring in while she gives the talk. But other than that, rest of the questions she'll answer at the end of the talk. Yeah. Reshma, it's over to you.
Thank you, Madhu. Good morning, everyone. So today I will be talking about the topic interaction of phonological systems in multilinguals, a case study of heritage Konkani speakers of Kerala. So now here, most of us here are multilinguals, at least bilinguals, and it's no surprise that our third language or our second language has been influenced by our first language. So that is the case everywhere, most of the situation. So here, I'm going to look at the third language speech of heritage Konkani speakers of Kerala. Now, why this is interesting is because we are looking at heritage Konkani speakers. Now, before going into any details, before showing you any data, let me just give you a little bit background of heritage Konkani speakers, and let's also see what heritage speakers are, who heritage speakers are. So, yes, heritage language is a language that is spoken by a community at a place where the community is a minority. So the term heritage language was initially coined in Canada because of the diverse diasporas that Canada had. According to Montreux, the term heritage language was used in United States in the 1990s to refer to the minority languages of the immigrants. So heritage language is basically the language of the immigrants. So say for example, X and Y are from Chennai, Tamil Nadu, and their mother tongue is Tamil. And so when they live in Tamil Nadu, their primary language is Tamil. They use Tamil for everything, for all the purposes. And all the other languages they know are their secondary languages. They may be using all those languages in a restricted domain. Now imagine X and Y moved to US for some years. And when they shift to US, what happens is their primary language, Tamil, which used to be their primary language, now becomes their secondary language. That is their mother tongue, their native language becomes a secondary language, and that is now restricted, used in restricted domains. And their primary language is now English, which is the major language or the majority language of the states. So that is what heritage language is. And it is also important to understand that it's not necessary that all heritage speakers should have competence in their native language. So a heritage speaker may or may not know their native language. So now let's say when X and Y move to US, the first generation, like X and Y, will know their mother tongue because they just moved from Chennai to USA. Now, if we look at their second generation, they may know their native language, their parents' native language. Now, as years go by, it's not really necessary that the future generations know the native language, that is Tamil. They may actually have assimilated to the the community there, and they may only speak English. They may have become monolinguals by this point. So it's not necessary that a heritage speaker have competence in their native language. Now let's look at heritage Konkani speakers of Kerala. So heritage Konkani speakers of Kerala migrated from Goa to Kerala during 13th to 16th century. Now they moved to Kerala, they migrated to Kerala as a result of Portuguese Inquisition. During the colonial period, there was an attempt to forcefully convert Hindus to Christianity, and Konkani speakers, they valued their identity, culture, and language so much that in order to, not in order to escape from this massive conversion, they fled their motherland and they moved to various parts of the country. Now, some of them are settled in Mumbai, some are there in Karnataka, and some of them are in Kerala. Now, if you look at the distribution of Konkanis in Kerala, it's scattered. Many of them have settled in Kasargod, that is the northern district of Kerala, which borders with Karnataka. And therefore, the variety of Konkani they speak in Kasargod is similar to what is spoken in Karnataka. And if you look at the rest of the Konkani population that are settled in the southern districts of Kerala, that is Ernakulam, Alappuzha, and Kollam districts, their Konkani is largely influenced by the local varieties of Malayalam. Now, many of them have, due to various reasons, they have to mingle with the local population, the local community, and therefore many of them have given up on their language. They do not even use their mother tongue, which is Konkani. But for my study, I have chosen the GSBs of Kochi, Mattancheri. GSBs are the Gauda Saraswat Brahmins. So if you look at the Konkani population in Mattancheri, we'll have, we can see that the Konkanis belong to 5 different castes. They are Gauda Saraswat Brahmins, Saraswat known Brahmin, Konkan Sonar, Vaishya Vaniyar, and Kudumbi. So as it is obvious, the Gauda Saraswat Brahmins are a much more privileged community, and they could live as an isolated community for a long time. It was not until 1990s they started mingling with the local population. So they were living as a close community. Now, if you look at the rest of them, the Saraswat non-Brahmin, Konkan, Sonar, Vaishya Vaniyas, and Kudumbis, especially Kudumbis, they could not live as an isolated community because their whole livelihood depended on the other communities, and they had to mingle with the local population, the local community, and therefore, as a result of that, their Konkani has been assimilated to the local language, that is Malayalam. And when I did my field work, what was observed is that the youngsters, the younger generation of Gauda Saraswat Brahmins, they still speak Konkani. They make it sure that they make it a point to speak Konkani at their homes, at their household, and within their community at least. Now, when you look at the other communities, the less privileged ones according to the social caste hierarchy, they do not speak. Not everyone speaks Konkani at home. Most of them have they just do not speak Konkani. Many teenagers, they have no idea about their mother tongue. Maybe they know bits and parts, but they cannot speak in Konkani. They do not speak in Konkani. And Kudumbis, they have completely assimilated to the Malayali community. So I have, for the purpose of my study, I have chosen Gauda Saraswat Brahmins because they speak Konkani at their homes and within their community. So now let's look at the linguistic dimensions which actually make the Konkani speakers of Kerala heritage speakers. So now if you look at this chart, if you look at the socio-political dimension, the majority language of Kerala is Malayalam, and the minority, Konkani, is only a minority language in Kerala. So let's say maybe 1 in 10 speakers speak Konkani. The rest of them speak Malayalam or other languages. So the majority language is Malayalam and Konkani is the minority language. And if you look at the order of acquisition, their first language is Konkani and the second language is Malayalam. Now this is about the GSBs, the Gauda Saraswat Brahmins of Kochi. If you look at the Gauda Saraswat Brahmins of other parts of Kerala, this may not be the case. So in Kochi, they live around a temple as a community and they make it a point to speak Konkani. They have diligently functioning institutions which actually promote Konkani as a language. So this is about the GSBs in Kochi and not other parts of Kerala. So here the order, if you look at the order of acquisition, the first language is Konkani and the second language is Malayalam. Now, in most cases, they acquire Konkani by the age of 3 and Malayalam after that. So some are sequential bilinguals, that is they first learn acquire one language and then they acquire another language, the second language. But many of them are simultaneous bilinguals in the sense that they acquire both the languages around the same time. So regardless whether they are simultaneous bilinguals or sequential bilinguals, the point here is that they are very fluent in their Konkani and Malayalam. Although there are variations in their Konkani, they speak Konkani, they know Konkani, and yeah, so that is the situation. Now, if you look at the functional dimension, Malayalam, of course, is a primary language in Kerala, and Konkani is their secondary language, meaning they use Konkani in restricted domains, such as when they use Konkani when they talk to their family members or within their community. Rest everywhere else, they use Malayalam, which is the primary language. That is, they use Malayalam in their schools, colleges, hospitals, shops, everywhere else they use Malayalam. So, what are we looking at? So the point here is that the peculiarity of this particular community is that they migrated many years ago, hundreds of years ago. And because they had to mingle with the local population, they must have, their language must have received a lot of, influence. Yeah, over the years, Konkani, an Indo-Aryan language, must have had several influences from its contact Dravidian language, Malayalam. And as I said earlier, they were living as a closed community, and that must have actually helped them to retain many of the language's features as well. So here we have two different languages from two different language families. Konkani belongs to the Indo-Aryan language family, and the contact language, the primary language Malayalam, belongs to the Dravidian language family. Now, keeping both the possibilities in mind, we will investigate which language, that is Konkani or Malayalam, which of these affects the English speech of the community. And for this presentation, I'm limiting myself to the segmental level. We'll only be looking at the segmental level influence. So, yeah. According to Weinreich, bilinguals have two separate phonemic systems for their coexisting languages. So that is meaning, so if you have Konkani, English and Malayalam, if you know Konkani, English and Malayalam, according to going by this claim, bilinguals will have separate phonemic systems. Now, the separate phonemic systems will only be there if you are fluent in all these three languages. If one of these languages, if you're not very much fluent in one of these languages, it may be occurring within the phonemic system of one of these languages. And here we are trying to figure out which language has major influence on their L3, that is English. So, the important thing is here that Konkani is Indo-Aryan, Malayalam is Dravidian, and English belongs to the Germanic language family. So we have three different language families, and we are trying to see the influence of L1 and L2 on their L3. Okay, so moving on to methodology. To avoid experimental manipulation, Konkani GSBs settled in Kochi were considered as subjects of this study. So as I said earlier, GSBs who reside in the other part of Kerala, they do not speak fluent Konkani because they do not live together as a community. So here in Kochi, they live together as a community, and therefore they maintain their language. And I have collected data from both male and females who belong to the age group 18 to 35. All the informants were tested for their proficiency in Malayalam and English. So it was made sure that they were fluent in all these three languages. Now, most of them were not very fluent in English because they learned English in school after the age of 6. And most of them were educated in Malayalam medium schools, so they were not very much fluent in English, but they were like, they could speak, understand, write and read in English, so that was good enough. It was maintained that all the informants were born to Konkani GSB parents living and they are living in Kochi since birth and have learned English as second language since the age of 6. So here, some of them, like it was made sure that all of them was born in Kochi and lived in Kochi until the age of 80. Now, some of them have moved to different parts of the country for their higher education, but it was maintained that all of them have lived in Kochi until the age of 80. Now, questionnaire was prepared to identify the pronunciation patterns of each sound in English, and every sentence had one word with the target sound. Apart from the structured interviews, narration and elicitation methods were also used. Okay. Most of them did their schooling in TD school, that is Tirumala Devasam school, which are run by the Konkanis themselves and uses both Malayalam and English as its medium of education. So here, informants' medium of education is not considered as a control variable because most of them were educated in the TD school, which had both Malayalam and English as its medium, and it functions in the same compound. And the teachers who teach in both these mediums are same. So therefore, the medium of education is not considered as a control variable here.
Reshma, can I bring one quick question?
Yes.
Just a clarification from Anjali.
Yeah.
So she wants to know whether are we assuming the speakers of the study to speak Konkani and Malayalam with equal proficiency and English with varying proficiency?
Yes. So Konkani, they should be really proficient in Konkani and Malayalam. Only then will we know which language, which language has the major influence on English. So their Konkani, they are fluent in Konkani and Malayalam. English, they are fluent, they can speak, they can read, but when it came to elicitation and narration and all, they were a little bit shy because they did not want to speak English. So that's why I said they're not that fluent or that confident in speaking English, but they knew English.
I hope that answers your question, Anjali. Yeah, she says yes.
All right. Okay, so the questions here, what are we looking at is, do heritage Konkanis of Kerala and Malayali communities speak an identical variety of English? So, Konkanis are in Kerala. They are, they live together with Malayalis. They mingle, they have to mingle with Malayalis at various domains. They, most of their teachers in schools are Malayali teachers. So, the question here is, do heritage Konkanis of Kerala and Malayali communities speak an identical variety of English? If not, how different are their varieties in terms of their segmental features? And the final and the most important question that we are dealing with is, which language, that is Konkani or Malayalam, which of these languages has a greater influence on the English spoken by heritage Konkanis of Kerala? Okay. So now this is the consonant chart of heritage Konkani, the phonemic chart. So here, if you can see, if you compare this with that of of Malayalam, we have aspirated stops. Now in Malayalam, we do have aspirated stops, but it's not phonemic in nature. And Konkani also has aspirated nasals, aspirated approximants, and aspirated lateral approximant, which are entirely absent in Malayalam. Now, if you look at the rest of it, it's pretty much the same. There are no major changes. Yes, in Malayalam, we do have retroflex approximant r, and yeah, the alveolar stops t and d are present in Malayalam, which are absent in Konkani. So other than that, it's pretty much the same. Now, this is the inventory of heritage Konkani English consonants. Now, if you look at this chart, again, this is very much similar to that of Malayalam. Now, the only, like, yeah, per, ba, ta, da, ta, da, these are all, used in the same way as any Malayali English speaker would use. So the, the interdental fricatives are substituted by the dental stops ta, da. But in some cases, in some Konkani speakers, they also realize the aspirated stops here, but not, that was not found in majority of speakers' speech. Now, although t and d are absent in their mother tongue, they still realized the alveolar stops. But again, there are variations in how they use it and where they use it. Yeah. So the rest of the sounds look similar to that of Malayali English. So, prima facie, it looks similar. Both Konkani English and Malayali English, at least the sounds, the consonant sounds of both the languages look similar. Now, let's now look at, so yeah, if you need to understand if Konkani English and Malayali English are different, we need to know the unique features of Malayali English that makes it different from other Indian varieties, right? So now, the unique features of Malayali English are the presence of palatal nasal nya and retroflex approximant r. Again, insertion of y and w between diphthongs, absence of aspirated stop th and voiced alveolar fricative z, absence of these vowel sounds a and a. So in most cases, so this is again about the majority of speakers, right? I'm not saying all speakers, but majority of speakers. What in case of majority of speakers, what happens is, let's look at the word apple. So instead of saying using the vowel a, apple, they will say apple, a. The back a vowel is used. And again, in case of enemy, it will be realized as enemy. A will be, this vowel will be substituted by A. So that is, these are some of the unique features of Malayali English. Now we will see if this is what is happening in Konkani English or are there more to it. Okay, now again here we'll compare some of the features of heritage Konkani English with that of Malayali English. It is observed that although HKE, that is Heritage Konkani English, and Malayali English are similar on various grounds, HK variety has many segmental features that are absent in the Malayali English. Similarly, HKE lacks a number of Malayali English features that are mostly present due to mother tongue influence. Now, this is no news. It's, it is evident, it's obvious. So now let's look into more details of it. First, we'll look at the morphophonological alternations. So in both HKE and Malayali English, this pattern is similar. So first, let's look at the inflection, addition of inflectional affixes. So for the plural morpheme, the addition of plural morpheme is, it will be realized as sir, sir, and s. No matter what the phonetic environment is, instead of it is realized as sir, sir, and s. And addition of past tense morpheme, instead of t, d, id, it is realized as the, id. So now this is similar in both HKE and Malayali English. So that is one similarity. And again, if you add derivational affixes, no matter how many affixes you add, the placement of stress will not change. It is always on the first heavy syllable in both HKE and Malayali English. So lack of morphophonological alternations is a feature of both Malayali English and HKE English. Moving on, let's look at gemination. Now, gemination is a feature of most Indian languages, right? So wherever we have double consonants, we tend to pronounce it evidently. So we say happy, funny, teddy, sunny, right? So we kind of stress on the on these consonants. So in bisyllabic words, gemination is observed even in words that do not have repetition of consonants in its orthography. So this part, uh, realizing geminated consonants, if it is present in the orthography, is a feature of most Indian languages. Now what is different is, even if there is no doubling of consonants in the orthography, it is still realized as geminated consonants in bisyllabic words in both HKE and Malayali English. So I've given you two examples here, city and bucket. So it's realized as city and bucket in both the varieties. Now, although that looks same, if you look at this data given here, we can understand that the gemination in both the languages does not happen uniformly. So the intervocalic gemination here, if you look at the HKE variety, if the preceding vowel is long, the following consonant does not geminate. But in case of Malayali English, no matter what the length of the preceding or the following vowel is, it geminates. So intervocalic gemination in Malayali English is present regardless of the quantity of the vowel. But in case of Heritage Konkani English, if the preceding vowel is long, then the following consonant is not realized as geminated consonant. Now this is about bisyllabic words. So yeah, HK does not allow, so yeah, Konkani also does not allow intervocalic gemination if the word is of this particular syllabic structure, and that is what we can see in the variety of English as well. So we can safely conclude that gemination in HKE and Malayali English is influenced by the rules of gemination of their respective mother tongues. Moving on to substitution of sounds, both the languages, HK, Heritage Konkani and Malayalam, is abundant with retroflex consonants, and in both the languages we can see these, both varieties of English as well, we can see this retroflex. Now, in both the varieties, these retroflex sounds are t, d, n, sh, l, and their distribution is similar in the medial and final positions. Now, if you look at these sounds, let's look at this data. The retroflex sound in HKE variety, na, la, is realized in the initial position. Now, this will not happen in Malayali English. Now, most speakers of Heritage Konkani English variety realized retroflex sounds na and la in the initial positions. Now, that is one thing unique to HKE. And yeah, now here in, when we speak a third language, when we learn English as a second language, it's very common that we substitute, we delete, or we add certain sounds to it. So now here, as I mentioned earlier, this is how we realize, these words. So the word nurse is realized in Malayali English is realized as nurse. So this addition of the retroflex approximant here, which is absent in HKE. Same with mass. Again, this Z sound is absent in Malayali English, but it is realized by most speakers of Konkani English. And in case of yellow and yesterday, the sound year is deleted is not realized in most Malayali English speech, but it is realized in HKE. So yeah, that is again another dissimilarity. Now moving on to post-nasal voicing. Post-nasal voicing is an important feature of Malayalam and therefore Malayali English. But that is not the case with Heritage Konkani and therefore Heritage Konkani English. It's not realized in Heritage Konkani English. So here we have, let's look at this data. It's na and ch, punch. But in case of Malayali English, there's an assimilation and post-nasal voicing that happens. So the voiceless sounds ch changes to j and is realized as punch, or simply is realized as simply, temple is realized as temple. Right? So this is now very common in Malayali English, but is not realized in Heritage Konkani English. Now that is again another dissimilarity. And let's look at the realization of diphthongs. So here what happens is, let's look at the first diphthong. Now in both the varieties, HKE and Malayali English, that sound, that particular diphthong is not realized. Now again, you know, in most Indian languages that is not realized, so let that be. Let's look at the other sounds. And if you look at the Malayali English variety, you can see an insertion of the sounds year and were, the approximants. So it's bear is bear, cure is cure, right? So there's the insertion of these sounds which are again absent in HKE. Now that's because HK actually has many of these diphthongs and Malayalam does not. So yeah, again, you know, the rules of their respective mother tongue is incorporated, and that influence can be very well seen. Okay, so far we can tell that you know, Konkani English is different from Malayali English, at least in terms of segmental features. And now let's look at some experimental evidence. So here what I have done is, I have tried to compare the vowel spaces of the heritage Konkani speakers and the languages selected by Konkani, Malayalam and English. All the three languages, you know, the Konkani speaker was asked to speak in all these three languages. A questionnaire was given, selected set of words were given, and they were asked to repeat the words thrice. And you know, the data was run in Prath software, and yeah, the duration, pitch, F1 and F2 were, you know, analyzed. So yeah, so as I said earlier, Konkani has you know, a number of vowel sounds that are absent in Malayalam, and as we know, most you know, a number of sounds that are present in English is not present in both Konkani and Malayalam. So what I've done is I've selected the sounds that are common in all three languages, and that is E, A, R, O and U. So here, you know, with F1 and F2, we can actually plot the vowel space. F1 is the vowel height and F2 is the back nose of the vowel. So with, you know, calculating the F2 minus F1, we can actually plot the vowel space. So here, as you can see, I have selected these particular vowels, and this is the duration of each vowel sound. So F0, F1 and F2 is given. Well, we don't really need F3 here, but yeah. And F2 minus F1 is calculated, minus F1 is calculated, and we have, you know, plot the vowel space with the help of this data. Now this is the form and frequency for HK speakers Malayalam. Now the same has been done for HK speakers English and Konkani for the same set of vowels. So here's the data. You can see the form and frequencies of HK English vowels and HK vowels. So yeah, this is what has been done. And now with the help of this data, I tried to plot the vowel space, the acoustic space of all these, of the, you know, the acoustic space of all these languages. Now this again is the average, okay, this data, this F1 and F2 is the average of, let's say 10 to 20 speakers. So that is why you can see all these variations. Now, yes, moving on. So this is the vowel space plotting for HK speakers, Konkani, English and Malayalam. Now, if you look at this, the one in red is the acoustic space for the Konkani speech, Konkani vowels. The one in blue is English and the other one is Malayalam. So now if you can notice, you know, it's pretty much, it's very evident. If you look at this, their English and their Konkani vowels are almost, you know, in the same frequencies. You know, it's in the same frequency level. Another important thing, if you notice, you can see that both English and Malayalam's acoustic space is within the space of their Konkani vowels, right? So this is the extreme, this is the Konkani vowels, and the English and Malayalam occurs within that particular region. And another thing is that this is the Malayalam vowels, and this is much different from the rest of the two. Now, if you look at the vowel height, okay, I'll come to that later, but yeah, just keep this figure in your mind as of now. We'll talk about the findings. Okay, before that, yeah. So this is the difference between HK and HKE F1, the ferment one, difference between the F1 vowel height, HK and HKE F2, difference between Malayalam and HKE F1, difference between Malayalam and HKE F2. So if you look at this, here the difference between Malayalam and HKE F1 is less than 1 hertz. But if you look at the F2, the difference is so much, it's more than 1000 hertz, right? And that actually makes difference in the sound. It actually causes difference. We perceive the sound as different separate sounds because it is way beyond the frequency level. All right, so these are the findings as it is evident from this table. HKE and Malayalam vowels are similar in terms of vowel height. Now, if you look at the F1 difference, the difference between F1, it's not much, right? It's well within the range and it's not much. But if you look at F2, it's too much. The difference is too much. So the difference of F1 between HKE and Malayalam is less than 1 hertz, and the average difference between all the vowels is 20 hertz. However, the average difference between HKE and Malayalam vowels F2 is more than 450 hertz, which makes the sounds different. So that is why we perceive, their Malayalam vowels and English vowels as different sounds. And going back to this figure, you can see that both English and Malayalam vowels are produced within the acoustic space of Konkani vowels, and the production of Malayalam vowels is more back when compared to HK and HKE. So this is what you see, it's more back. The production of Malayalam vowels is more back when you compare it with that of English and Konkani. So this is E, A, R, O, U, E, A, R, O, U, E, A, R, O, U. So this is what it is. Now, the average difference between HK and HKE vowels F1 and F2 is 53 hertz and 293 hertz. So now, when you compare the difference between HK and HKE's F2, that is 293, and when you compare it with 450, this is in the mid range, in the middle range, and therefore the sound, it does not make much difference in sound perception. So although there are differences, it is close. The production of HK and HKE vowels are kind of similar, but the production of their Malayalam vowels are different. So yeah, so Seliger, Krashen and Ladefoged argue that although early bilinguals have added advantages when compared to late learners, they may perceive or produce phonetic and phonological systems like monolinguals, yet will be different from monolinguals. That is, it may have the influence of the learner's first language. So now, as we said, as we discussed earlier, here in most cases, Malayalam and Konkani, they acquire Konkani and Malayalam almost around the same period of time, and therefore they are very fluent in both the languages. And as Weinrich's claim, they have separate phonemic or phonological systems for both these languages. Now, when you look at the English, they, as I said earlier, they're not that confident, or although they know English, they still use the features of their mother tongue to their English, and therefore it exists within the acoustic space of their Konkani vowels. Now, see, this is normal in most of the cases, but why it is peculiar here is that Konkani is a heritage language, it is a minority language, and they migrated to Kerala many years back, many centuries back. Now, they only use Konkani in their restricted domains, and yet their Konkani has a major influence on their L3. So the examination of segmental features of HK speakers English also suggests the inevitable influence of their mother tongue Konkani. Although HKE and Malayali English share many features, that is spelling pronunciation, lack of morphophonological alteration, gemination, etc., the predominant influence in them is of Konkani. Now, this study actually, tells a lot about the status of Konkani in Kochi. Although they have migrated many years, they migrated many years ago, they still have managed to maintain their language, and they still have not given it away to the majority language Malayalam. So it actually tells a lot about the language situation or the status of Konkani in Kochi. And again, this is about the GSB community in Kochi and not the rest of them, because they, the data will not be same for them because they do not speak Konkani anymore. Well, some of them do, but most of them, they do not speak Konkani. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Reshma. It was wonderful talk.
Thank you.
Yeah. So now to the participants, any questions? Yeah. So Shrikar has two quick questions. Number one, do you have the vowel space for Malayalam that is not from these speakers by any chance?
Okay, so right now I don't have, but for the, when I did my study, I did collect data from Malayali speakers as well. And now the interesting part, good that you asked the question. So the vowel space of Malayali speakers, native speakers of Malayalam, is also something like this. It's not much different. So the, it's pretty much the same. So they do have a separate phonemic system for their Malayalam vowels or Malayalam sounds. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, he has another question. So the vowel E is of Kongani and English are much closer than their uh, Shrikar, can you come and ask this? Because I'm not, is it about the vowel? I don't understand what is the yes after that.
Yeah, so basically, I was just curious on this graph, like whatever the top vowels are, like the first one of Konkani and English are much closer, and the second ones of Malayalam and English are much closer. So I was just wondering if you thought about what's going on there.
Okay, yes. So unlike English and Malayalam, Konkani has the schwa sound, a, right? So they have all these three sounds in their speech. And what happens is most of them use these sounds, in free variation. It is actually not phonemic in nature, but some speakers, they tend to use, the schwa sound where, schwa sound in most places. So I guess that is why this difference is there.
I hope that answers to you, Shikhar. Yeah, he says thanks.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Hi, Reshma. Can I come in?
Yes.
Can you go back to that gemination slide?
Yes. 1 second. Yes.
So over here you have, so we have four words contrasting Konkani English and Malayali English, right?
Yes.
I was wondering, does the syllable structure of the words that you've chosen have any sort of impact on the gemination? Because all the words here are bisyllabic.
Yes, that's what I have mentioned. This is only the case with bisyllabic words, not in others. So
Okay,
yes,
okay.
the syllabus structure actually has a role in that.
So all the bisyllabic words in English are generally pronounced with a geminated effect in Malayalam, regardless of
Yes, if it is, between, if the consonant sound is between two vowels, yes.
Right, right. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, there's one more question from Anupama.
Yes.
So she wants to know, since the school they study are run by Kongani themselves, are there chances of them talking in Kongani in the school, apart from the medium of instruction in Malayalam and English? Are they not really not using Kongani, maybe in cases of grammar translation method?
Okay. So yes, most of them speak in the primary level. Most of the students speak Konkani at school because they are not that familiar with Malayalam, or they do not want to speak Malayalam at school. So in primary level, yes, they do speak Malayalam at school. Sorry, Konkani at school. But otherwise, you can see many of them speaking in Malayalam in school. And so again, it's not necessary that all of them have been educated in the TD school, right? Some of them have been studying, or some of them were educated in other schools along with, Malayali students, where Malayalis were the majority. So, we can have both the cases. But here in TD schools, in primary levels, yes, they speak Konkani.
She says thanks, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So Anjali has a follow-up question. Is the
Mhm.
gemination only particular to bisyllabic words with plosives?
No, so here you can see, funny here. It's not a plosive, but again, this has consonant, double consonants in it. Well, I here in this particular data, I don't have that. I will look at it and then I'll get back to you, Anjana. Sorry.
Yeah, because she said you have examples like ruler.
Sorry.
Okay, she says no problem. Yeah,
I'll get back to you.
yeah. Um, any other questions? If not, I'll just wrap up. Uh, Thank you, Reshma. It was really wonderful talk. You actually made us to revisit our MA acoustics class. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much,
So
Madhavi. Thank you, Aisha. Thank you all of you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much.
yeah, yeah. So our next talk is on 27th by Andriana on syntax of Sanskrit. Yeah, we will update through mail the password and all. Yeah. Thank you. There are compliments in the chat box, Reshma. Maybe you can check it.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah.